Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's Amon-Rellik, the God Slayer. We are in. Today I wanted to have a little discussion about Destiny 2. This is gonna be a more an opinionated discussion, but I'll try to have some of what I feel is objective. Not so much. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I'll try to have some objective things in there for you in this discussion, but a lot of this is also just going to be it's going to be spoken from a person who's from a writer, from a storyteller's point of view, from a career artist's point of view. But we'll start off with like the title of the stream says, Destiny 2, it's good. It's not a bad product. It's not a bad creation. It's got some amazing lore once you sift through all the mess. It's got really nice design once, when they really try to be unique. But it's just so very bland. It's just so very bland. And I think a lot of that blandness comes from, and I know a lot of people are probably tired of the whole argument about the money in microtransaction design, but I think a lot of it comes from there. The way they chose to monetize this game plays an active role in this game's lack of creativity and lack of risk taking. This game has become what most would probably consider a mundane chore. AAA quality, no doubt, but a mundane chore no less. So let's get into the specifics of what I'm talking about here. For the last eight or so years, we have been shooting. For one, a first-person shooter, while it can be fun, it can also become repetitive extremely quickly. And for the last 8 or so years, we have been shooting the same enemies non-stop. No new enemies, other than of course raid bosses, and that's if they choose to make new ones. In terms of new bosses, the one truly new enemy we got was the Tormentor, and even then, the Tormentor is used very sparingly in the game. Very sparingly. It's not like how when they introduced the Taken, which are nothing more than reskins of the three factions. When we got the Taken, they spread them everywhere. You can find them everywhere. Tormentors, not so much so. And they're probably the genuinely newest. I would say the genuinely newest or freshest enemy type we've ever had. So there's only so far you can go with shooting with first person shooting the same factions with the relative same type and same amount of guns for so long. You can only do that for so long before it just becomes irrevocably bland. And it's like, because of the way the monetization of this game has become, making it so intricately a live service, the key is no longer quality, but quantity. And even when it comes to quantity, this game is having a hard time balancing itself. It wants to be a quasi MMO. And while I think they've gotten to this point to where they understand that they'll never be a true MMO, even them trying to be a quasi MMO, it's turning out to be more of a detriment than it is a help to the game design. Like, when they brought back Titan in Season of the Deep, it feels like we're being it feels like it's under delivered, because Titan is not a play space. It is a instance space. So what we once had, a free roam Titan, we now have an instanced Titan, one in which we spend most of that time under the water, or technically under the water. And even in that, right? Even in that, most of the actual gameplay does not take place in the water environment. It takes place in places that just happen to be underwater. So it's still in relatively normal, mundane game spaces that you're just being told you're under the water. So it's like, okay. And I understand why that had to be, because you really trying to make water combat in first person shooter? Nah. I will say they were right to not to try and throw some new mechanics they ain't never been really good at trying in at this point in the game. But at the same time, it's hard not to see how their focus on trying to keep up with the quantity has vastly impacted their quality of work. And again, when it comes to the dollar sign, right? When it comes to making the money, it's never been about quality. It's how much of it can you mass produce. That is what Destiny has become. It's become a game in which experiences are being mass produced. And while they're being mass produced at a high level, in terms of, like, you know, AAA quality polish and design, that makes it a good product, but it makes it a bland one, because all of this mass production leads to everything being the same. All of our upgrading paths have been the same for years. You know, all of our activities have been nothing but copies and reskins and reshuffles of our same activities for years. We've never had a truly, genuinely different activity that, like, truly made you play Destiny in a completely different way, even while keeping its main base design. We've never had anything like that. Like, Destiny has become very, very afraid to experiment. Bungie has become very afraid of experimenting. And again, this isn't about changing, this is about experimenting. And you'll probably come across a lot of people or defenders of Bungie who will say, well, if you want them to experiment, you gotta be willing to see change. I don't mind change. I personally don't mind change. But even if you wanted to defend the fact that the game should not go anywhere outside of the first-person looter shooter, genre, or out of that, identity, you can't say that the lack of innovation is startling. especially for a AAA company that's now worth billions. Startling. And again, I don't even subscribe to the whole, well, they were indie for so long. Nah, Bungie was one of the big five when it came to game development, and they've always been one of like the big five. Always, ever since Halo, they've never gone backwards in terms of their capabilities. You know. Okay, yeah, they lose a publisher, but Bungie had no problem with publishing Destiny 1 and 2 on the technically, they had no problems with getting a publisher for that. And then when they decided to do it on their own, they were able to do it on a consistent basis on their own for years. Now we can say that, yeah, Forsaken was a special case because they had Activision at their backs. Cool, that's cool. But we've gotten so much more when they didn't have Activision. We've gotten more. It wasn't like Destiny 2 died when they left Activision. They kept the game going, and they kept bringing out shit on their own when Activision was gone. So I'm not going to hear that excuse in that sense. Like that's not an excuse, especially considering how much they monetized this game both before Activision and after Activision. Their monetization practice did not change. It wasn't like when Activision and when they separated from Activision, you stopped seeing Eververse. It's not like Eververse was an Activision thing. That's a Bungie thing. So that's part of the conversation I don't even acknowledge. But it's one of those situations where I think some people will take my high criticism of this game as I think as a sign as I don't think the game is good. That's not it. I think the game is good. I think the game has the potential to be something truly, while people do consider it something truly special in their own right, I myself consider this a bland FPS. However, I see that it can be truly something special in the FPS space. It's the only real FPS I play. And so I understand that this could be something truly special in the space. Yet Bungie has to be willing to do again what made Destiny different and special amongst first-person shooters. They have to be willing to innovate it. They have to be willing to take chances with it. They have to be willing to look more into what makes Destiny unique and what makes it such a draw for people, instead of trying to, okay, yeah, they might be known as one of the few successful live services, but in my eyes, that's not something to be proud of. To me, that's not something to be proud of. We're probably the most successful live service. Yeah, you're the most successful at milking and nickel and diming your fan base. That, to me, that's not something to be proud of. It's not something to be proud of to say that, yeah, we have been the most successful at taking a game whose value is lesser than what we demand in terms of price. We're the best at doing that. We're the best at overcharging you. We're the best at selling you false hopes and false. We're the best at overhyping shit to the moon and back. Damn near false advertising, very close to false advertising in certain instances. Like, that's not something in my eyes to be proud of. Yet we can go into the story mode. Story. Bungie, that's another thing with the stories. Bungie they have got to start focusing on telling complete and coherent stories. The way Bungie tells their stories is objectively horrible. Now that's an objective fact. The way they tell their stories are completely horrible. And the reason why they are horrible is not because the stories themselves are bad. No, they are good, but they are told almost completely contradictory to the way proper storytelling is formulated and designed. PSP is something I learned in my 20 plus years of writing my own fantasy novel and gathering knowledge about writing. I've learned that PSP, premise, setup, and punchline, is one of the key basic underlying principles to writing any good story. Developing the premise, creating the setup, and then ending it on that big punchline. Let's take Forsaken for instance. Everybody lauded Forsaken for being so great. Well, at the end of that day, that was an amazing storyline told horrendously. It was told horrendously. We should not have known that Cade died in the beginning of that damn story. Forsaken should have been, its premise should have had Uldren Sov on the cover art with his little dark eyes, his little, darkness taking over eyes. That would have been the premise. This is going to be a dark and gritty expansion. And this is going to be an expansion where some bad stuff might happen. That's all and it's going to involve Uldren Sov. That's the premise. The whole campaign itself can lead up as the setup. And at the end of that campaign, we should have got hit with Cade's death. It would have came out of left field. Nobody would have known shit, which means it would have the impact of his death would have hit even harder than it already did with the fan base. That's a more impactful, that's a more structured and more coherent style of telling a story. And it's something that Bungie, I don't know, that they're like serial offenders when it comes to this. They don't even adhere to the basics of proper storytelling. Again, there's a point, there's a criteria at which creating something, there's a criteria in which any creation has to meet in order to be considered an art. And Bungie is trying. You can tell they want their game to be considered art. And a lot of what they do shows that they want to be considered art. But one of the things that, again, because of this product, or should I say because of this creation having a lot to do with the storytelling, if they want this storytelling to be, if they want this game to be considered as what we all want games to be, art, we want game, we fought for so long for the gaming industry to be respected as a place, as an art form, that creating games is an art form, then that means you must adhere to the criteria of what art does. And art moves. Art inspires. Art moves people. It inspires people. And you can't do that when storytelling is so jarringly, when storytelling and your world building is so jarringly lacking that people can't even immerse themselves. When I jump into Destiny, I don't feel like I'm jumping into a world. I feel like I'm playing an FPS that's got chores for me to do every day. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And it's one of those things where, let's take a look at how we would do things. Now, me, I am a PvE mainly character, mainly player. So my whole thing's gonna be, okay, let's not, we're not gonna worry about Gambit or Crucible, but let's just take this as this is a day in the life of a PvE Destiny player, and I'm gonna say casual, because that's the, no matter how much you might dislike this, what I'm gonna say next, the vast majority of the player base are casuals. They are not hardcore, whether it be PvP or PvE. The majority are casuals. That's where Bungie makes most of its money, is its casual fan base. They will always be the majority because nobody... That's because hardcore is special. Because hardcores are motherfuckers who dedicate themselves to one thing. Most people are casual people. They dedicate themselves to the thing that they enjoy at the moment. So, as that, right, looking at it through the casual lens, I know I got on my warlock. All right, let's first see. First thing I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna probably jump in here and look at my screen. This gray background that's droll and dull. This dull gray background. Very few moving parts other than me. Let me see. Okay, I'm on Stormcaller. I got my little centrifuge. I got my little Randy's throwing knife, and then I got my little Regnant. All right, cool. All right. Oh, my artifact. That's right. Intricate to my build. All right, so I want to get shock and awe. That's what I want. I want shock and awe. I don't get my next artifact unlocked until 750,000 points. You see, at this point, I'm already ready to log out of this game because I know that this is going to take me forever to do. Now, the reason why it's going to take me forever to do is because, again, as a PvE player, I'm automatically locked out of a lot of the things in this game. Now, I'm not saying that I can't do PvP, but what I am looking at it from is from somebody who refuses to engage in the PvP. They're already locked out of half, or at least a quarter of the game. So, all right, what are we gonna do? Let's go to the tower. Let's go to the tower. All right, and what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show you where this game being good, but being bland begins to compound on itself. Where people can't find it in themselves to play Destiny for more than like an hour. In a game that's supposed to be a quasi MMO that you sink hours and hours into at a time. Again, this is from a casual person's point of view. Alright? This is from a casual person's point of view. Because, again, the title of the video, good but bland. Very good AAA design. One of the most unique FPSs in the market. But then you start seeing these, again, these money-backed, mundane, just keep churning out the same thing and do it faster. You know, churn out the same shit, just switch it up a little bit, but churn out the same shit and do it fast as fuck. Put out as much as you can so that people will buy as much as they can. And it's like, again, when you implement quality over quantity, that can only work for you so long before people who actually have eyes and actually have brains to think will begin to be like, hold on. If you take the season pass out of this game, right? You take the season pass out of this game, what are you left with? You know, another thing is looking at how some of this grind can become so mundane that even shorter grinds become painful. You know, even shorter grinds that aren't even as extensive as, like, again, looking at the last levels of the artifact, 750,000 points. I played Destiny 2 for like the last 3 or 4 days, maybe like an hour or two at a time, and I'm only at 340 or 304,000. Like, just to get to the last line of this, which is where all the great stuff is. It's like and I got 3 characters, so it's like I know I'm gonna have to engage in a lot of these things that I've engaged in for the past 8 years. You know, I want to go to the tower. I want to collect bounties. I'm gonna go to wherever these different planets that I've been on for the last 8 years. I want to collect their bounties. I'm gonna do their bounties, and the bounty system in this game really irks me at times, because what it does is it forces you to have to take your build and throw it to the wind if you want to complete certain bounties. Like, the bounties are like weapon specific most of the time, or class specific most of the time. So you end up in the situation where, like for instance, me, I really like my arc build for my warlock right now. This is not my main character, but I like my arc build for my warlock. I don't want to change my arc build for my warlock. I like my beautiful white and silver warlock. I don't want to change my build around. I don't want to switch my weapons out. I don't want to do these things. But how much you want to bet when I go get the gunsmith bounties, I'm going to have to do that if I want to complete them. So, I land here on the planet. Alright. Took me forever to even get here, first and foremost. But I'm here. Alright, let's go see Banshee. Banshee 44. A lot of people don't know why Banshee's number is 44. It's because he died 44 times fighting the same goddamn motherfucker on Europa.
Worth fighting for.
And he is actually Clovis Bray. He's actually a piece of Clovis Bray's mind, actually. So that's some good lore about Banshee I like. Alright, let's get in here and let's look around.
Back out there.
Alright, you want to grab some bounties. Auto rifle. I have an auto rifle. Yay!
Done and done.
Hand cannon. I like hand cannons because, you know, I'm a hunter main and I love hand cannons. So, alright, yeah. Hand cannon we can probably do. Okay.
Deal.
But I don't want to use a machine gun. That's one bounty I ain't finna do, because I don't want to use a machine gun. What's right here? Void weapon. Am I? Yep. Luckily, I got a void weapon. That's my heavy. Alright. Void. Alright, cool. Yay! Alright, yay! Alright, now we're gonna go over here. Screw Gambit. Like I said, screw Gambit. Nobody, you know, it's abandoned anyway. And again, we're looking at it from a PvE's point of view. So I'm not fucking with Crucible. So we got that. Okay. Ah, Arc. Nice. Okay. We're getting lucky this day. Now, half of the time, you wouldn't even be able to get half of these bounties without having to break your own build to pieces just to complete them. Alright? So I got kind of lucky right here. Nice. Wonderful. Alright, now where are we gonna go? Alright. We got our tower bounties. We need to go to the helm. Gotta go to the helm. And here's where I go back to that piece where I talked about how Bungie seems to be so afraid of taking risks. Where they seem to be so afraid of innovating their design. Because they said up and down, we're getting rid of the grid, guys. Nobody likes the grid. We understand nobody likes the grid. So we're going to get rid of that grid system you guys don't like, right? They got rid of it. They got rid of it. Because if you notice, when you go to the actual grid itself, if you notice, they got rid of that little focus, that whole little grid where you get all the little nodes and stuff. They got rid of it. Well, they said they got rid of it because of course the players didn't like it. I'm gonna show you where that grid is. That grid is actually still here. If you go to, I think it's, yeah. If you go to the season pass, go into the actual seasonal challenges. If you click over to seasonal bonuses, that's where your grid is. It's still in the game. And it still operates the exact damn same. It's just in a different place. It's just in a completely different place. Like for instance, this was time gated. Just like how it would probably be in the norm if it was in the other little 3x7 grid. This was still time gated because they didn't release the second boss until the second week into the expansion, into the season. So this was still time gated. Like, there are certain things like this one I think is going to be time gated. You know, some of these aren't, of course, but at the end, that's how some of the other ones were. You know, so you got a lot of things. They're still doing this dumb thing. They're still doing this thing where you can only get one guaranteed deep site per week. One. And then they relegate what? When it comes to getting those little, what's some things called? It's right here. Yeah, these little deep site harmonizers, you only get 3 and you'll get 6, but you have to pay for the actual season pass to get 6. And the drop rates, from what I can tell, are still abysmal on these things, on these weapons. And mind you, for me, I just want one. I just want the hand cannon. You know, for me, this is easy, because all I want is targeted redaction. That's the only one I care about. I might go for this one because of stasis, but beyond that, I don't really care for different times. I sure as hell don't really care about shotguns for real. But this hand cannon is the one I really want. So because I only got really like one to focus, for me it's not so bad. But what if you like them all and you want them all? You're gonna be you got a grind and a half on your hands, you know. And again, oh, I didn't even get the bounties from here. Let me go down here, grab the bounty. All right, so what do these bounties say? Right? All right, open a deep hot shell, kinetic slot. All right, cool. Precision weapons, cool. Solar and strand. I'm not using solar and strand, but I think the melee ability part will actually work anyway, regardless. So I'm gonna get it. I think the way that's worded, I can actually get melee kills regardless. But again, like that sucks when it starts to try and tell you, well, you can't use your build in order to, you know, complete some of this stuff. All right, so now we've gotten what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 11 bounties across 3 separate types. Well, 2 separate types of activities, because these. Well, because these will be done regardless, no matter where I go. These will be in the Vanguard playlist, and these will be in the deep site, well, in the deep dive and stuff like that, right? Cool beans. All right. All right. So with that, and that's if you're just trying to do the most current stuff in the game. It's gonna be those, you know, those particular 3 things. All right, so we're gonna go and try to get some of these Vanguards done, right? Luckily, I've only got 1 more of these to do, and so what we'll probably do is we'll probably go into doing the Nightfall, probably. Oh God, what Nightfall is that? The Dreaming City. Oh God, no, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. I might say fuck that. That's another thing too. Like some of these certain Nightfalls are like ugh. But anyways. Alright, so what do I gotta do here for these? I gotta do finishers, arc damage, kill combatants, powerful combatants, do 5 finishers. Alright. And void weapon, hand cannon, auto rifle. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll knock out the hand cannon, I think, first. I think we'll knock out the hand cannon first. Probably. Yeah, we'll knock out the hand cannon first. And so, again, what we're going to do is let's take a look at what this experience says right now before we begin all of our experience gathering. 305,217. The goal here is to get that next artifact unlocked. That's what I want. That's what I want because I want to get shock and awe. Right? I'm basically showing you what it feels like as a casual player trying to get some of the best things that you want out of this game at times, and while for new players it'll be a richer experience because they never experienced something like this before, for somebody like me who has played all through Destiny 1 and all through Destiny 2 up to this point, this is old, and this is very drab, and it's very old. You know, I've seen my ship flying through hyperspace for so long. You know, it's again, it looks good. You can tell it's highly designed, but it's become bland now. No new animations for how you fly into a planet. Same animations for years. I mean, it's just...
You're in the thick,
and
Guardian.
nobody's here.
Take it.
Okay.
Pretty sure they know you're coming now. Then
All right.
there's no time to waste.
Alright. And mind you, you gotta do this shit on 3 classes if you wanna keep, you know, if you wanna have, you know, if you wanna experience the game from all 3 sides: Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. Alright. Ah, there you are. People. Finally. Yes. Yes. Hello there. Let's, hold on. Let me, yeah. I'm trying to show y'all it's all connected. They're lying to us. They're lying to us. Don't you see that? They're lying to us.
Guardian, I need those cleared so I can tap into the network.
Hello.
Coming in hot. Death token spotted. Target that acolyte, Guardian. The Hive are sending an ogre. Moving back to a holding pattern. Good luck.
Alright. Pancakes are done. Switch over. There we go. Oh, you're there. I was like, where is she shooting me from? somebody over here?
Towers are ours again. Grabbing you a laser core for the gun. We'll need to open up the campus again. Sesame. The perimeter towers ahead are back online and reading you as hostile. Mind your steps.
Alright.
Perimeter towers in range. Stay hidden, Guardian.
I don't want to stay hidden.
Coming in hot.
Just run it. Run it. Run it. Run it. Open door.
Hive aren't switching up their strategy. What's that saying you used to like, Elsie? If at first you don't succeed, try again. Spot on. Though I might have taken it too literally.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. I didn't catch on the edge. Thank you, sir. I'll box with you, goddammit. Get out of here. Hello. Oh God. Oh, hey, that's right. I forgot about this. Is it up there? Yeah. Up. Hold up. There should be one up there. Catch. I think they already used this one. They already used this one? Yeah, I think they already used this one. What? So dumb. Like how I just walk off the edge and I got to the, I hit a flat. Oh, that's so dumb. All right. I don't understand why they wasn't just. Okay.
Secure what we can of Charlemagne Guardian and slip away safely.
Oh no. Oh no.
I know his troops scattered after we shish kebabbed Sol with a Valkyrie, but I didn't think they'd just abandon Mars.
Nokris' forces pledged themselves to Savathun. They stand with the Lucent Brood against Zivor Arath. Have you been so involved with Rasputin that you were not aware?
I guess no one can clear the Hive out like other Hive.
Consider that Savathun avoided a direct conflict with her whenever possible. Zivor Arath is their war avatar, for good reason.
Alright. Three good old warlocks. I like it. I like it. I like it. I think now, yeah, because we've completed that, if I remember correctly, if I look at my quests, boom, 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 boom. All right. So now we just gotta do salvage and deep dive, salvage and deep dive, boy weapons, auto rifles, some more. Over the deep dive chest. All right. Oh, I got one of these. That's nice. That's nice. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. Yay. Got 300 bright dust. And as if I need any more glimmer. Well, glimmer is just a dime a dozen. Let's look at this pale reflection. This is ugly. Okay. Alright. Let's keep going. Keep going. Oh, buddy. Where we at now? Hold on. Kind of forgot my spot here. I need deep dives. Yeah, I need deep dives and salvages. Alright, let's go. Into the playlist. Alright, so the criteria was we're gonna try to do we're doing only the main seasonal stuff, mainly. We did the whole strike playlist. We got the double exotic engram for completing that weekly. We got the bounties from the tower for both the strike playlist and of course gunsmith. And we've got the salvage stuff. The salvage bounties. And we've been playing now for about an hour. I'd say about 45 minutes. We had the first 15 or so we were talking a little bit. So about 45 minutes. We're gonna see what we can get in an hour here. What we can accomplish in an hour.
Enemy contacts on the rig. Secure the area before they can cause any substantial damage.
Once again, Titan, a once beloved space. A once beloved space is no longer a roaming space. It is now simply a regular old event space. I guess you could call it an event or seasonal activity space. Like that. Place this.
Got some doing what needs getting done out here, friends. Need you to lend a hand.
All right. Catch, thank you. All right, let's go on to the next side.
and see what you can do to fix it.
All right, let's knock this last part out here, shall we?
Unfathomable depths and horrific abominations. Anyway, transmat firing.
And this is the only truly underwater part of this whole season. Like, this is the most you're gonna get out of the underwater gameplay. Basically a underwater walking simulation. With some sonic bubbles. Alright, cool, nice. Alright. And of course they're gonna start the whole thing without me. Yep. Which means I'm gonna, okay, I'm about to say I barely got that. And All right, one phase of boss, not a problem.
Hey, Chief. Is it true you found yourself a suit of power armor a while back? Don't suppose you could find another?
I remember that armor. Golden Age tech, very advanced. Huh. It fused itself to me. Boosted my strength, speed, agility, endurance. Until it ran out of juice, that is. Then I had to rip myself out of it to keep moving. Tore up my internal organs, made a nasty mess. My ghost had a hell of a time putting me back together. So, I guess the armor had some design flaws. Still interested in scoring one?
You know, I think I'll pass.
All right, so it would seem that this one just doesn't get done. Apparently. This one was. And this one was. Okay, so since I'm not finna switch classes, not happening. Alright. Oh, well. Let's see. Who's still here? You get best dressed. And well, I would have probably given best dressed to you, but y'all were the only ones still here. Y'all get what I got. Alright. Another thing. Big problem. Keys aren't, well, at least for me, keys don't seem to be dropping from the activity itself. So I'm having to go outside of the activity to get certain keys to drop. Don't like doing that. Got a deep dive key though. Alright. And that, I think that came from the strike. Really don't like having to play super old content in order to get things for the new content to drop. Really don't like doing that. But now, here's my thing. Match made. I am in the match made deep dives. I'm not doing privates. I'm doing match made deep dives. Now, this was a video I made before where two randos got with me and they wanted to up the difficulty. We upped the difficulty, but because we didn't get to the point that they wanted, they left me at the boss room and just departed, which forced me to have to fight that boss at a higher difficulty level solo. That was not what I signed up for. I only want to run the normal freaking activity. Remember, you have to do this shit multiple times for long periods of time. I just want to do the activity and get my shit done. That's all I want to do. And sometimes, depending on these people, you could totally negate being able to do the activity properly. I don't blame the other players. I blame Bungie for making it that way.
Move out, fire team.
Enhance void damage. Enhance many busts.
Fire team, we've located a high concentration of egregore coral behind newly drawn enemy lines.
Same stuff, different day. Can you see us from way up on that Cabal ship, Valis Saladin?
Yes, fly like Lady Yolder and leave nothing in your wake.
Whoa. Calm down. Once again, this is the most you're
You're
gonna
on
get.
site, Guardian. I'll draw away their commander while you get the job done.
Why are you standing right in front of my bullets? Oh. Thank you, sir.
Sites in this sector are in the deeper shelves. Descend and keep your weapons close.
Our weapon. Ability,
Saladin, what shifted your
this one.
opinion on the Cabal? You don't strike me as someone who likes to try new things.
I'd wager it's the same thing that made you trust an outcast worm. The actions of individuals. Actions that held to their words. There's a sense of honor. You build kinship in common cause. Others can remind us why we fight, if we can learn to stand beside them.
Drop it up. And that's it.
On that gear.
No more,
Let's
no
see
more
how they
water.
like a little sabotage.
No more water levels. All right. Good gore. Oh, they all fired darkness bolts. They all did. Okay, that's why I was like, how'd I die? That whole group did. Alright. Oh! Okay, what in the hell is it pushing me to? Alright. Wow, he got me.
Shelves. Descend and keep your weapons close.
Collection tanks are full and safe. Time to turn the tables.
Okay, it looks like this group doesn't mind just doing the damn objectives. I like it. I like it. Let's go.
Kulazan, bound by war, conquered from trickery, I invoke your death!
the wall with Shax and Saint before that. What's wrong? Memory getting fuzzy in your old age?
It's all one long fight to me. The individual skirmishes start to blend together. I remember the losses.
Yeah. Sure felt like the whole world was against us in those early days. Well, I remember you and Osiris coming around occasionally with the Iron Lords. Never did help us with the wall, though.
We helped hold it after it was built. I've always been more soldier than Mason. And now I owe Saint money.
Alright, so we got rid of our key. Okay, so we got rid of our key. Let's see. Oh, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Alright. Got rid of our key. We completed another seasonal challenge. Oh, we got actual seasonal bonus. What we got here? Ah, you rank that up. Nice. Sexy. Alright. Now, since I'm playing solo, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna knock these out. Whatever. Whatever. Alright. I got that. Got one of those. Don't really care for this pulse rifle, but sniper rifle, like, you know, I don't like the fact that that sniper rifle is in that spot, to be quite honest, but whatever. I don't like it being in the kinetic slot like that, but whatever. Whatever. Alright. And let's take a look at where are we at here? Still got probably another round of that to go in order to get my next artifact. At this point, we've actually played more than an hour at this point. And all I really got for that hour was 3 red borders to 3 different weapons. One of which I wanted, the other 2 in which I don't care about. So at this point, I'm about an hour in. I go over to my collections, I look at my patterns, I look at my hand cannon. I only got 1 more for my hand cannon. I'm 1 out of 5 for this motherfucker here. I'm gonna be more than likely 1 out of 5 for the submachine gun. Actually, no, I'm actually 4 out of 5 for the machine gun. Okay, for the submachine gun. All right, cool. Four to 5 on that one. Just the 3 out of 5 on that one. Yeah, and it's like when you got so much grinding. Like, again, this is a season in which I knock out weeklies on that day. I don't like spread weeklies out, because it's like, what's the use of trying to spread out a weekly when you can just knock it out in that one day? Again, like, the game has gotten to that point where, what is this? I just got one more in this one more in that one, 2 more on this one. I'm already pretty, yeah. Yeah. It's like I'm reaching that point where I'm reaching that point that I reached last time in the previous expansion. At the end of the previous expansion, when we were, I think it was Season of the Sarah. Was it the previous expansion? I think, yeah. Where I'm reaching this point to where I just want to log out of the game, uninstall it, and just wait for the season to be over. Wait till the end of the season, and then I want to, because like at least in that sense, I can get all of my content in one big swath. Because now, again, I can't objectively get anything new, or should I say experience anything new, until reset on Tuesday. And so instead I'm back to doing the okay, I've knocked out these quests. So now what? Do I want to go through the grind fest that is the Nightfalls? I want to keep doing those Nightfalls over and over and over and over. Same night? No, I don't want to keep doing those Nightfalls over and over and over and over and over again. Like, again, even the best MMOs that make you do lots of grinding content, they're way better at masking how mundane and repetitive it is. And that's one of the things Destiny's got to learn. It's got to learn how to make the game feel less repetitive. You got to stop making me feel like I'm doing the same shit, even if I'm doing the same shit. You know. And Destiny is just so blatantly samey. It's blatantly samey. You know, going back to that phrase, good but bland. You know, it's good but it's bland as hell. You know, it's like there's no. They say, you know, you hear this a lot. You know, Destiny's lost its soul and stuff like that. And I can understand why people say that, because it feels like there's no true life behind the game. It feels like a very rigid game that's specifically tailored to be the optimal game in which you can optimally siphon a player's time and money. It seems to be very optimal in that sense. Again, while Bright Dust rewards might just give you a small selection here, and then of course a small selection here to choose from for Bright Dust, you go to the Eververse store itself, and boy, there's a plethora of things. Oh yeah, there's plethoras of things, all kinds of bundles and offerings and whatnots for you, recommended just for you. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. You know, recommended just for you. Okay. Recommended just for you in the Eververse store in and of itself. You know, you can, of course, buy silver at a moment's notice. You know, I've got my 800 from, I don't know how long it's been. But, you know, but then the amount you can just get from the in-game currency of Bright Dust, oh, minuscule. And then again, like, shit like this, like, the ship is ugly as fuck. Why would I want to buy that? You know, why would I want to buy this big ass, flat ass bus? You know, like, It's like there's not a lot of soul in this game anymore. It's very, very rigid. Very, very rigid. And what that does for me, I don't know about you guys, but what it does for me is, because I know there's nothing exciting. When I turn this game on, there's nothing exciting that I'm going to get myself into. Alright? I've done those activities. I spammed them. I'm going to go to Hawthorne, get my little engram for doing this little grind here. Mind you, we did one strike. We did what? One strike, one salvage, one deep dive. Right? We did like one salvage, one deep dive, and one strike.
No.
And it's only been an hour or so, and we've only done 3 activities.
Hello, Guardian. Welcome.
I'm not finna open these because I'm not finna get no new exotics. They're gonna keep giving me the old ass exotics. I'm not gonna open those. So they're gonna sit right in there.
Checking. Underway. Confirmed. Acknowledged.
Alright.
A transaction to make, Guardian?
Hearing a lot of chatter about your clan.
Alright.
You up here is pretty good too, I guess.
You just gonna stand right there,
Still
right, Cora?
more questions, requiring still more answers.
You just gonna stand right there, right, Cora? Like you've been for the last, I don't know how many years. Just gonna stand there. The world's supposed to be going to shit. You just gonna stand there. Alright. You and Zavala just stand there then. Stand there. Alright, so all that's done. Let me see. So the most I can probably do now, in terms of oh, that's not it. Yeah, so all that's done now. I got that done. I got that weekly done. I got that weekly done. I got the strike weekly done. All right. I have to go back and grab some of his bounties for extra, with extra glimmer, and grab a bunch of his with extra glimmer, because again, they don't refill the bounties themselves. You gotta go get the random ones, and again, the random ones are just gonna make you just throw your build away in order to complete them. I don't like doing that, so I'm not going to do that. And this right here is also ticks me off, because this did not work for so long. I'm not sure if it works now. If it does, this will probably be the perfect time to show it. But you know how Amanda died, in which her death was handled poorly, very, very poorly. But you know how she died and all that, right? And so now down here is this whole little shindig for her, right? And they're supposed to be interact. Okay, so now it fucking works. Not sure what that does or what that did. What is that? What did that do?
Huh. Let's see.
Now you saw that? You saw that? You saw that shit? Last will and testament. And absolutely nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. I don't know. Like this. Oh, it's so draining, man. It's so draining to see a game that's just so shallow, yet so good. A good game that has become so shallow that they like nothing happens when you go and you interact with that. Like, why? Why doesn't something happen? You marked it on my map. You told me to go go over there and do something with it. Why does nothing happen? Why are these ships all out here in battle formations as if these things are gonna be of any use in a war against a freaking god? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
The shadows encroach all around us, God, but our light still burns.
Like, and again, because this story is being told in such a retarded fashion. Yes, the word is retarded. Because the story is being told in this long, drawn out, once a week, 15-minute interval, it gets to the point to where you end up being so drawn out that you just don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care about what happens in this damn story because I'm tired of waiting 6 days just to be given less than 20 minutes of a story. And then half the time it doesn't even move anything forward. It doesn't go anywhere. Nothing significant happens. And I have to wait another 6 days for that. Like I said in a previous video, you are not fucking Game of Thrones. Like, oh. And again, that's just the story beats. Now you mean to tell me what's left is for me to play the same mundane shit I have for the last 7 years. To get what? All I've achieved in this last hour or so has been 3 red borders, 2 of which I could care less about. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got. But the quasi-MMO nature of this game wants you to be stuck in this game for a couple of more hours. They want you to keep playing for about 3 or 4 more hours. But we end up doing what I'm about to do right now, and that is, I did what I did. I put in my little bit of hour and a half or so, and it's like, I'm not, the most you can do is do this on 3 characters. So that's how you end up pumping 2 or 3 hours into the game. Because now I've done this on Warlock, I can go back on my Titan and on my Hunter, my main, and redo this exact same process. But that's about it. It's not like I'm getting, most of the I guess you said most of the uniqueness It's just in how you play the classes. So, okay, I can run the same missions as I already do with a different class, right? Yeah, but each class still follows the same relative skeleton. You get a class ability, a grenade, and a melee, and you got guns, and you got a super, in which the only time you're not in first person, the only time you're not in first person is when you're at the tower, and then when you're doing your super. That's mainly, those are the only times in which you're not in first person, basically. So it's like, you're trying to be this quasi MMO / first person shooter, and while yes, I guess you could say the the live service model. While the live service model of this game is a phenomenon in the sense that it's worked better than any other live service game to date, that doesn't make that a good thing to say. We gotta stop thinking that because it does live service the best, that live service in and of itself is a good thing. And right now, live service, it sucks the literal soul out of games. It sucks the soul out of games because what ends up happening is it becomes less about the service and more about it just constantly being live. You know what I'm saying? Like it sucks the idea out of the game being good, or should I say being a quality product and just being a huge product. They'll settle for the best of your gaming companies nowadays will merely settle for it working. At the very best, you can get companies that will actually be like, does it work? All right, it works. Like for the most part, Destiny even though Destiny is in many ways broken in terms of its spaghetti code nature and all that, but like the game functionally works most of the time. And the best of your developers, at least at this point, it seems like the best of your developers will do is to make sure that the game functions. But at the very worst, you get shit like Redfall. Literally unplayable cash grabs. And it's like, and this is coming from, again, this soulless, mundane way of creating supposed art. Because again, we're trying to keep the game industry respected as an art form. We're trying to keep it there. But when you start to just create mundane things, like this city, when you first saw it years ago, this city was amazing to look at. Now, I'm just wondering, why the fuck don't we ever engage with this big ass background that's supposed to be so fucking important? Why is this last city on Earth, right? This is the last fucking city on Earth, and I could give a hot damn about anything down there. I could give a shit. I don't care. Why? Because I never get to spend any time with any of these people. I don't even get to see this city truly grow. How did we get to this point to where the city's gotten so damn big if it supposedly started from like a little bitty camp? How? How did we get so big? Why don't we ever see that? Why don't we ever play as a guardian during that time, helping it grow? We do none of this stuff. There is no attachment between me and my journey as a guardian and these people. I could give a rat's ass. Witness, take them all. I don't care. Because again, there's no attachment there. And you can't build one because the story is told like a raggedy piece of paper, balled up and thrown at you for fun. It's not told properly. And it's told with no soul attached to it. It's like if somebody read you the Lord of the Rings books, but read them in the most flat, monotone voice ever. There's no heart behind what's being told to you. And then, even with what's being told to you, it's only a surface level story. There's no depth to it. And then if you want to find death, guess where you gotta go? You gotta press this button. You gotta go over here to this button, right? Then you gotta go over here to this button. You know, then you gotta go and look up all these little books in all these different places. 261 books on the light, 14 books on the Vanguard. Dusk and Dawn's got 339 books on it. The Darkness has 232 books of lore on it. And you mean to tell me you could not put any of this in your supposed story-driven quasi-MMO? Why am I reading this? Why am I reading some of it? Now, I understand some of this. But why am I reading a lot of this? Like, Dredgen Yor, why did we read about him? Why did we not see him in cutscenes? Why was he not a raid boss, for fuck's sakes? Or like a dungeon boss? Why are some of these motherfuckers who are supposed legends in this world not even being treated like legends? Again, it makes me not give a fuck. It makes me just not give a fuck as a whole. And apathy is the death of creativity. Like, apathy is the death of it, man. And it's like, when you become apathetic, when you just stop caring about the world no longer matters, and what you do in it no longer matters. And when I feel like what I'm doing doesn't matter, when what I feel like I do doesn't even matter anymore, what you have done is you have effectively destroyed what it means to be a video game. It's supposed to be an escape, that it's supposed to convince me that my time sitting down pressing buttons on a controller is worth it. That's what it's supposed to do at its very base level. It's supposed to be a hobby that allows you to pass time without feeling like you're wasting time. And when you can't even get me to care about the shit that I'm doing, you have failed fundamentally as a video game, let alone a piece of entertainment media, let alone art. When you can't even get me to give a fuck about what I'm doing, because you detached me so much from this world. Through your fucked storytelling, through the samey ass shit we keep doing over and over again, to grind for hours to get quasi maybe a few steps forward, a few itty bitty steps forward from where we were before. Like, yet people get hurt, people get mad, people start getting real defensive when you start holding these companies to higher standards. And of course they should be held to higher standards, because if you can demand my money, I can demand higher standards. When all of this shit in here could have been rewards in the game, instead you say, nah, we want you to buy them. On top of me buying the expansion, on top of me having to buy the seasons, on top of the fact that you separated the dungeon from the goddamn season, so even it's considered its own separate thing that you have to buy separately. And then you mean to tell me Eververse is supposed to just be, that's just something we're supposed to accept? We're just supposed to accept Eververse's existence after all of that? We're supposed to accept that thing over there, that abomination over there. We're supposed to look at that and say, oh, it's fine. Well, Destiny is free to play. No, it's not. It's free to try. It's not free to play. So much is denied to you. So much of this game is denied to you if you don't pay. Some of it, you could even argue, is more like pay to win if you don't pay. Or if you do pay over the ones who don't pay. So that abomination over there is cool, huh? That abomination over there is cool. Which they've already said that they make a ridiculous amount of money from Eververse every year. They already said that. They make a ridiculous amount of money off of Eververse every year. Not even counting what they make off of the expansions themselves, then the season passes, and then separating and making and charging you separately for the dungeons. And they say they're doing it in the name of convenience. No, you're not. You're not fucking doing it in the name of convenience. You're doing it because that's what live service is all about. You create a single game, and then what you do is you learn to stretch that game as far as you fucking can and monetize every single inch of it, or as much as you can get away with for a long period of time. Because they don't have to worry about making a Destiny 3 because Destiny 2 makes them an exorbitant amount of money. They don't have to worry about innovating on the franchise itself because this is one long, endless fucking franchise. Or one long, endless fucking title. Like, it is live service is not what people think it is in terms of this whole thing of, you know, you can dedicate yourself to a single game for so long. No. It's you being nickel and dimed over a long period of time. Because again, here's the idea. Over the course of all of Destiny 2, you've probably spent, and just expansions alone, you probably spent close to maybe $300, maybe $400. If you want the expansions and of course all the seasons and all the season passes and all that good stuff, probably spent around $400 or $500, and that's just me that's just me spitballing. I know it's more than 200. And you mean to tell me that what game you know is worth that much money? What game you actually know is worth that much money? And I'm talking about singular game. If you just looked at a singular game given to you, if I handed you a copy of Destiny 2, would you pay $200 for it? If I just handed you the copy and say, this is $200, would you pay $200 for it? No. But because it's being given to you in these micro, small, cutout pieces under this long period of time, it makes you feel like you're buying a new product when you're not. You're literally buying content that should already be in the finished. If this is a quote finished game, it should be a finished product. They know how to make a game that is not worth $1,000. They know how to make it look like it's worth $1,000, and that's what live service does. It literally makes things that are nowhere near as worth buying as they claim it is. It allows them to stretch that supposed worth out for a long period of time, because it's easier to nickel and dime somebody over a long period of time than it is to try and get all that money up front. And again, it's like, it's a good game. But Rob bless if this shit is not as bland as bread with nothing on it. Like, and again, I was here. I was here for The Taken King. I was here for House of Wolves, when we didn't really know what the hell this franchise was going to be. I was here for all of that. I was here for Forsaken when we thought, holy shit, Destiny is about to become something special. I was here for Rise of Iron and Curse of Osiris. I was here for all of that. And I'm here to tell you, the game ain't significantly changed at its core at all through all that time. It hasn't. Captain Scoobies, why ain't you out there grinding and getting all this great loot in this looter shooter that 90% of it you're gonna get rid of? Why you just standing in the tower? I mean, I know I'm standing in the tower. I'm over here talking to my people. But, you over here got your... Oh, you acting like you the only one who can You can sit down. I can sit down too. But it's one of the things too that it's like, you know, we can't call ourselves a smart community. We can't call ourselves smart gamers and allow motherfuckers to piss in our mouths and be ignorant to them pissing in our mouths. You can't walk around with the idea of calling yourself an intelligent gamer. Well, I'm not dumb, I'm not stupid. Because if you're not dumb, if you're not stupid, then you can tell when you are being robbed subtly. When you're being robbed subtly. And again, even I myself am guilty of it. I know I'm being robbed subtly. I know I am. But at the same time, I so badly want them to change this. I so badly want them to show people what this game could truly be. I so badly want them to do it that I'm willingly letting them rob me. I'm letting them do it every time in the hopes that they change. But why would they, right? Why would they? Why would the powers that be change any of this shit? Because the only people who can actually control that change are the higher ups, who are not going to change because it's in their best interest to keep it the way it is. They make an absorbently retarded amount of money with the way this system is. They're not going to change it. So who else gets to change it? Other than them, us, the consumers, the buyers. We are the ones that can change it. We are the ones that can literally say, we're not buying any more Destiny expansions. You're going to have to give us a free one to let us see if you truly have changed your ways. Like, why? Why? I said it in my previous video yesterday, my previous stream yesterday. I was like, you could not treat your customer base like this in any other industry. If you tried to buy an incomplete car, you could sue. You know, you would be sued if you tried to sell somebody an incomplete car as a dealership. Like, why is it that the gaming industry is able to get away with such practices? Because in essence, at the end of the day, it's a product. And I deserve to have a quality and complete product because my money don't come to you in pieces. I don't cut $100 bills up into 1,000 pieces and then say, here's one today, here's one tomorrow, here's one 2 weeks from now. You get all my money. When you get all the money that you demand for the product. You get all of it. So since we did all our crying, all our yelling, and all our screaming, and the ones at the top are like, y'all can scream all y'all want, we ain't changing shit. Because all you motherfuckers gonna buy it. Nerds. Right? And it's like, yo, I come from a different background. Like, I played, video games became an escape from my past life. So it's like, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been predator and I've been prey before. I know what both sides look like. And it's like, you couldn't do this shit in the street. Living in the street life, you couldn't take somebody's $10 and give them a 5 sack. Nah, that'll start fights. That might lead to even somebody getting stabbed or shot. You don't fuck people over in the street like that. You learn that respect is one of the best ways to stay alive. But we as gamers, we let them shit all over us. We let them shit and piss all over us as consumers of this medium called, gaming. We allow people to shit all over us. And then we hold them on pedestals higher so they can get even better aim at it, at shitting all over us. And it's like, Why? When half of these companies get tax breaks out the ass. When half of these companies, a lot of people don't understand that the richer you become, the less you actually have to pay for a lot of things in life. Like, tax breaks become a whole lot more easy to get when you got a lot of money. Like, it's the idea of the rich get richer. And so it's like why do we not have a space, or should I say, why are we being treated as if we don't have the right to demand good product? Why don't we have the right to demand that our products be full of worth? And then here's the crazy part. You got one or two gamer developers who do it. And when they do it, those games stand out like crazy. Even amongst all of these hyper-realistic and graphically inclined games, big names a part of them. But then when a game like, Witcher 3 come out or Elden Ring come out, you get to seeing them games and you're like, oh my God, they're shaking up the game industry. No, they're not shaking anything up. What they're doing is they're going back to the way the game industry was always intended to be. A relationship between the players and those who made the games. You make something great and I will pay for it. It was a simple agreement. Make something that moves me in some way, inspires me, moves me. Because again, we want games to be respected as an art form, correct? We want games to be respected as an art form. So deliver me that. Give me art. Give me something that moves me. Give me something that makes me, when I'm done playing it for the day, I put my controller down and say, damn, I gotta think on what I just did. Or I gotta think on what I just played. I gotta think on what I just witnessed in that cutscene. Like, that is But you look at Destiny, because of so much of its lore is buried beneath freaking tabs and shit, you got motherfuckers like Bife who can make full careers off of doing something that Bungie themselves are supposed to fucking do. He made an entire career on explaining to you the lore when the fucking story that you're playing is supposed to tell you that. It's like, but again, nobody looks at that. Any writer worth their salt will look at the way Bungie tells this story and be like, this is horrendous. This is fucking horrendous how they tell this story. It's not like From Software, who purposely make their storylines ambiguous as fuck, where it can be interpreted in so many different ways, and then you have somebody like VaatiVidya, who goes like deep into like, what does this statue might mean? Like, when VaatiVidya gives you lore, he gives you a lot of speculative lore. He doesn't give you like concrete lore that's written in the game. He gives you a lot of speculative lore mixed in with factual lore. So what he's doing is he's taking because again, From Software's Dark Souls series and things like that, they don't spell the story out to you. They instead give you crumbs and bits all over the place, and then they say try to figure out what it is through that. But what Vaati does is he says, okay, let me get these crumbs and put them together, but then let me look outside these crumbs and see if there might be telling me something. Maybe the environment is telling me something. That's the reason why they consider that's why it's considered that the environmental storytelling in From Software games is second to none, because you can literally look at statues and paintings in their games and be like, they're trying to tell me something about the story, right? So when you have somebody like VaatiVidya who actually does the extensive research that it takes to put the crumbs and the environmental storytelling together to come up with a cohesive look at the story, right? I understand how he's able to do that and how he's able to make a career doing that. because From Software purposely makes the story obscure. Destiny does not do that. Anything you want to know in Destiny is written. It's written. Nothing is obscure in Destiny. But the way they tell it, you wouldn't know half of the shit that's going on in the game unless you dug through all these goddamn tabs and shit and read a bunch of white text. But they want you to get so hyped when you see the witness float up to the Traveler for the first time. Like, come on, man. Like, they keep telling you, oh my God, if we don't get the veil, the world's gonna, the whole universe is going to shit. If we don't get the veil, the last city's gonna be fucked up. Fuck that last city down there. Nobody give a shit about that last city down there. Like, ain't nobody up here in the tower like, oh, last city. Oh, the last bastion of humanity. If it goes, humanity goes. Ain't nobody treating shit with any kind of real urgency. Nobody. We just got through doing a whole Rocky montage over a goddamn green strand subclass. Ain't nobody giving a shit about the city down there. Nobody. We over there hanging out with some buff Silver Surfers and Neo Muna. Ain't nobody giving a fuck about the last city. Mind you, we all the way over in Neptune dealing with that shit when the Traveler and the Witness are face to face for the first time in the goddamn franchise right above Earth. What the fuck are we doing way over there on Neptune? What are we doing way over there? I mean, hell, they already made the Witness basically be unkillable. The motherfucker was slicing Guardians to pieces with his finger. So how in the narrative are you gonna say that we beat something like that? In the narrative, how are we going to beat something like that when this motherfucker can flick his finger and slice Guardians into bits? I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, the game's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. But hell if it's fucking dry. Hell if it's not fucking dry. Hell if it's not empty as fuck. Like, it's so empty. And again, probably one of the biggest sins this game will always have in my heart, that I believe it is done, that I cannot forgive it for, is you cannot make me pay for something and then steal it back from me. You cannot make me pay for shit and then tell me I can't have it anymore. I paid for that. When do we get to this situation in our lives where people can make us pay for something and then take it from you? When do we get to that point? When do we get to that point where we pay for a product and then that person says, okay, you played around with that product long enough, it's mine back, it's back mine again. Like, no, I paid for that. I paid for that. Again, it's like paying, we use the car analogy. You go buy a car, you pay for it in full, you drive off the lot, and then 2 days later, the dealership's like, oh, you gotta bring that car back. What? You mean I paid for that? That's my property now. I exchanged my money for goods. Those goods now belong to me, just like my money now belongs to you. When they took away all those planets, all those expansions that we paid for, did they supply refunds for all of those? No. They sunsetted your goods, but they didn't sunset that money we paid to them. Where the fuck did we get to this point where game developers could literally steal our goods? They stole our goods. They stole our goods. I don't care how you try to twist in corporate speaking. I paid for something and you took it away from me. You stole my goods. Amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, it's one of the reasons why I don't like things like live service games. The only reason why I'm cool with MMOs is because, generally speaking, MMOs will go for a True MMOs will stay alive for as long as they utterly can. Your good MMOs will stay alive as long as they utterly can. So at least if they do die, it's never because the developers just want to take that content and run. It's usually because, it's just like, it's gotten to the point where either nobody's playing anymore, so it just doesn't make any sense, or it's gotten to the point to where, the developers are going to instead come up with a new modern form of the MMO or something like that. It's never just, we don't want to have this in the game no more, because they wanted to make the excuse of, it's too much content for the game and we can't keep the game stable. Fuck you. Whatever. Fuck you. Some of these other developers who don't even have the kind of tech power that Bungie's got can have games with an absorbent amount of content. All running at the same time while having an actual true MMO structure. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. You can lie to kids, but you can't lie to me. Get out of here. Fuck you. No way. No way. No way. No way. It's as simple as this. You realize, shit. How are we going to create a situation where we can churn out quantity while keeping the quality up? Oh, we can't. Duh, you can't. You can't churn out shit on a constantly fast 2 to 3 month basis and expect the quality to stay the same. It's gonna drop. So what do? We can take some of them planets away. Yeah, let's take some of the planets away, and then we'll give it back to them in reshaped versions. They gave us Mars back in the Witch Queen, but you actually didn't go and wander Mars like you did when we had it before. Oh no, it was instance based. And literally the entirety of Witch Queen basically took place on a planet that we paid for in the past. So they basically resold us Mars. Oh, that's how we do that. Yeah, okay. Okay, we can do that for Mars. Let's do that for Titan as well. Yeah. So they basically resold us Titan. Great. Awesome. Awesome. The only true unique planet we've gotten in the longest of time has been Neomuna. And it ain't nothing but a Cyberpunk 2077 wannabe clone. That's all that is. That's all that is. So it's not like the aesthetic is something new. It's been done already. Way better than Destiny has. And to be quite honest, the aesthetic don't match what the fuck we're doing right now. If you look at the title of Lightfall, and then you look at the aesthetic behind it all, that don't match.
What if the traveler's not
this whole surfer style, cyber surfer style, that shit don't match Lightfall. Shit don't match at all. Again, like, people don't like criticizing things they love, but I love criticizing things I love. Why? Because if I gotta pay you my money to experience those things, by damn it, golly, they better be good. Because I could be buying groceries, paying rent, putting gas in cars. I could be doing things that actually help my immediate life go forward every day. Instead of giving it to somebody who could give a fuck about what my enjoyment and my experience mean to them. And we as consumers have to start holding ourselves with some motherfucking respect. We gotta start holding ourselves with some motherfucking respect. Because right now we acting like groveling slaves. We're acting like groveling slaves, just happy to get a little bit of porridge from master's goddamn toenails. Like, what in the fuck is wrong with us sometimes? Like, and I'm saying us because I'm a part of y'all. I do this shit too sometimes. I get to this point where I get to making excuses for obviously fucked up business practices simply because I love the franchise. I grew up with it. Like Final Fantasy, I grew up with it. I'm in that era where Final Fantasy VII was the first time I ever played a Final Fantasy, back when I was like 13 or so. And yo, Final Fantasy VII is it's like one of the few things that made me go into writing and creating a story of my own. Like that game will always be near and dear to my heart. The story will always be near and dear to my heart. But fuck, are they doing that shit slimy now, where they're only telling you pieces of the story. First they're retconning half the damn story, then they're only telling you pieces of the story, and they selling you each piece as full games, when back then you got all 4 discs for one price. For one price. Even if they had to do this, I would have rather them do that. Just give me a 2 or 3 disc game and sell it for $100. That game is large. I know it's large. I know it's going to be the size of like 3 or 4 regular games. I get it. Just give me the whole thing in one package for $120. Why are you trying to get a 70? Because at the end of the day, it's going to come out with one expansion. It's going to come out with one main story. Then you're going to give me an expansion. One main story, then you're gonna give me an expansion, and I'm gonna end up paying for a game that might be worth $100. I'm gonna end up paying $300 and $400, way more than what the game's truly worth. And why would you nickel and dime my fucking nostalgia like that? Why would you nickel and dime something that truly inspired me to be a writer like that? Why would you treat me that way? So now when I look at Final Fantasy VII, I don't see the magic anymore. All I see is the corporate greed behind it. Apathy is the death of creation. Apathy is the death of artistry. Apathy is the death of any form of soul and feeling and passion of you know, for any type of creative art. Like, it is when you stop giving a shit about who you're trying to make feel it. When you stop giving a shit about making somebody feel something. When you stop giving a shit about making somebody feel inspired or feel moved by what you're doing. When you stop caring about that and just more about how can you profit off of it, I promise you what you create will be soulless. It'll be soulless, it'll be empty, it'll be damn fucking dry and bland, and that is not art. That is objectively not art. And what we are getting right now is mechanically sound products. That's all we're getting is mechanically sound products. But the art that we're supposedly paying top dollar for is not here. It is not here. That got me fucked up. That got me fucked up. Got me way fucked up. If you think for a second that I walk around with my eyes closed or staring down rose-tinted glasses, nah. They have the pursuit of never-ending profits. All right, the pursuit of never-ending profits have ruined almost everything we as media enjoyers held dear. Our greatest IPs and franchises from as far back as the 70s, like Star Wars. That is a franchise that goes back to the 70s. Utterly fucking ruined under the same apathetic fucking ideals. It just it just sucks to be a gamer, man. It sucks to be a gamer right now. You know, it sucks to be a gamer. It sucks to be not even just a gamer. I'm sorry. I don't know. I shouldn't just pinpoint it to games. It sucks to be a man who enjoys art. Sucks to be a man who enjoys true art. Who, even though I came from the streets, I got a measure of class about me. And I enjoy true art. But when we got games that will shove, when we got games that will sooner shove identity politics down your mouth than make something truly artistic, when we got games that will sooner shove microtransactions and identity politics down your mouth before giving you a true artistic experience, it's the death of art. Apathy is the death of art. Artists never die. Artists never die. But apathy can kill art as a craft. As a craft, apathy can kill art as a craft. Though the individual artists themselves will always remain, art as an actual viable craft that one can practice as a life job, that will die. The corporations have already shown that they are apathetic. They don't give a fuck. The last bastion to make art a still viable practice are you, the consumers. Us, the consumers. We can demand that our games remain art. We can demand that our games are made with passion and love to not only dip into our pockets, but to also give us experiences that last a lifetime, that gives us experience, that motivate us to be more, do more, want more. You can go online right now and look up videos of people who say, Dark Souls helped me through depression. Dark Souls helped me, battle, helped me fight and win over my anxiety. You got motherfuckers who can take games that truly possess an art to them and see how they have been able to apply that artistry, that inspiration, that passion that went into that, and then soak it in, and it actually give them real world results, real world help.
Discipline, their loyalty. That is something to be commended.
We fought for gaming to be considered an art form. Not just a media outlet, but an art form. We fought for that. And now we're letting it go. We're just letting it go. It's the same thing with acting. Acting is considered an art form. But nowadays we're getting a lot of actors who don't know how to fucking act. And they're being touted as great based on their namesake alone, or who they're related to, or who they might be in cahoots with. It's no longer about the true skill of the art no more. It's no longer about that. Money has a direct effect on how good, I won't say how good. Money has a direct effect on how pleasant your life can be at times. Money has a direct effect on the level of, or the quality of your life. With low amounts of money, your life quality will be lower. You won't live in the most pristine looking houses. You won't have you probably won't live in the best and safest of neighborhoods. You probably don't get health care, so you probably have pretty high medical bills. So you more than likely won't go to the hospital when you should, because you're afraid of the bill that's going to come afterwards. So you end up probably dealing with medical conditions that you probably had for years and don't even know it. The quality of your bank account directly ties into the quality of the life you live in many ways. So when Dave Chappelle said the infamous words, "To take a man's money is akin to killing him," understand what that phrase means. To take a man's money, to take away a man's livelihood, thus his money, is akin to killing him. So when I give you my money to get an experience, an enriched and a deeply enriching experience, when I give you my hard-earned money that I could be taking to enrich my actual life, do not take my money lightly. Do not take me being the consumer of your product lightly. Because contrary to popular belief, not everybody got $40 and $50 to shovel out every time these motherfuckers want to give you trash. Not every time these motherfuckers want to give you a subpar story or resell you or sell you reskinned guns do you have $20, $30 to handle out. Sometimes you might be down to that last $100. They gotta make it stretch a week. I don't know where these motherfuckers get off thinking that everybody's walking around here with stacks in their pockets and that the world ain't on the verge of another recession. This country's on the verge of another recession. We're supposedly going to end up in being one by next year. I guess they say if everything stays the way it is, we're proposed to be in another one by next year. Like the fuck, man. And that just goes to show you how out of touch these companies have become with their customer base. It's like that whole Diablo fiasco. Don't you guys have phones? What if you ain't got no phone, motherfucker? Like, how dare you assume anything about me? I mean, I got a phone, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, how out of touch must you be to just assume something and then create, and then let's not even sit there and act like Diablo Immortal wasn't the most heinous business practice you ever seen done in this industry. It's gotta be up there in the top 3 of the most heinous shit we've ever seen a company do in this industry. To fully max out a character would cost over $100,000. Do you know how many people in the average player base, or should I say just the average middle class? The average middle class don't make $100,000 a year. A year. A year.
What if the Traveler is not what we thought it was?
I got a homeboy right now that works information security for the government. He does information security for the government. And he makes just below $100,000 a year. This is a man who went to school, passed college, on into master's degrees, and things like that, and makes less than $100,000 a year. He's like right at the line. He's like almost at the line.
But their philosophy is not so simple.
Tell me, in one game to max out one character? Nah, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. In a game that was made from the ground up to be a fucking mobile game. Get out of here. Get out of here.
This is important.
My time is worth something. It may not be to you, but it is worth it to me. My money is worth something. It may not be to you, but it sure as hell is to me. My attention is worth something. May not be to you, but it fucking is to me. Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. Amon-Rellik Gaming. I'm about to go play me an indie game now. Because apparently nowadays, it's far more worth your time, money, and effort to play some of these indie games out here. Like, I'm having a blast playing V-Rising. I'm having a blast playing that game. I'm having a blast playing survival games like Scum. Having a blast playing some of these AA games or games that are considered, you know, on the lower end of the spectrum, but they got more heart. They got more love put into them. They got more essence of an artist crafted into them. They make me feel something when I play them. And I can lose myself for hours in them. Go and look at my V-Rising fucking videos. I can lose myself for hours playing in those damn games. But I can barely stomach being in this AAA ass shit for more than an hour or two before I'm like, man, this shit is it's like if you took a shit and dipped it in gold. Oh yeah, the smell is being held inside from the gold casing, so it don't smell like shit, and it look like a gold nugget until you're able to crack that bitch open or melt the gold, and then you realize what's in the center, and now you feel horribly betrayed. You feel like you've been conned. You feel like you've been stolen from. You feel like your time has been wasted. And Destiny's one of those games where when you start it up, everything feels fine. The gold looks good. The gold feels good. And then the longer you begin to play, over about an hour or two, you begin to realize, I am being robbed. And then you log out because you just can't keep going. It's too damn boring. It's too damn bland. It's too damn samey. You log out. But guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You done spent so much damn money previously for this game. You done spent so much time, you end up in that sunk cost fallacy to where you can't get over it. You can't get over it. You can't stop playing because once you stop playing now, you feel like you've wasted all that time. And to be quite honest, my friends, my families, the dark children here today, let Papa Relic tell you right now, you have. We all have. We've wasted our time. We've wasted our money because this is the direction that they chose to take this game. They chose to take it into this empty, soulless direction, which then makes our time wasted. If you look at the way the Game of Thrones went, for season 1 to season 7, your time investment was worth it. Season 8 negated all the time you spent from season 1 to 7. It made all that time worthless. And that's what they did here. That's what they did here.
The oldest encryption methodology sometimes contains...
You guys, man, start looking up some of these AA games. Fuck these AAA games. Start looking at some of these indie and AA games. Start looking them up. Some of them got graphics on par with AAA. If graphics is what you really need in your game, some of them got it.
Risen by the traveler.
Start looking up some of these, AA games that may not be as graphically sound, but they're packed with content. They're packed with heart and soul. They're packed with people. You can tell that they're made by people willing and ready to innovate and take chances, and you can tell that they're being made for the specific purpose to make the player base feel something, be inspired by it.
Risen by the traveler.
You know it's bad when something as synonymous to art as music. Music is like, if art had to have a concrete looking definition, one of the things that would be its concrete definition is music. Music is like art's face. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to take music out of the conversation when we talk about art. And you know it's bad when Salvatore had a beef with Bungie over something as artistically indisputable as his music. That was the first thing that made me worry about this game. I was like, why are we arguing about the music? Why is he not getting what he deserves when his music is what carries the game? D1, his music carried the game. There's a common understanding about D1, and we all used to say it. Yo, this music is more epic than the shit we doing. There is a boss in D1. You can look this music up on YouTube, I believe. It's the Eye of something. It's a D1 boss, and it's his theme. It's a Vex boss called the Eye of something. I gotta remember. I can't remember what it's called. But like the boss battle, the music was like ridiculously epic. But the boss battle itself, you could burn that boss down within like maybe a minute or so. At max power and stuff like that, you could like burn that boss down like it was easy. Didn't mean much. But the music was like out of control. It was great. And that's the theme for so much of Destiny's music back then. Like, why is it that the music that the boss has is far more epic than the boss itself, you know? And that just lets you know that there was passion put into that music. When Bungie said, Salvatore, we need you to make something epic, moving, and powerful, he, as an artist, as a musician, an artist, said, I got you. But then they went in and just said, just make a regular ass boss. You know, just make a regular ass boss. He treated his art like art. They treated their creations just as products. He went in there and created art. They went in and created a product. So that's why when you see them both together, the boss and the boss theme, one seems like one of them is out of place. Like, this boss should not have this epic of a theme, or this theme should have a way better boss than this. So the cracks have been showing since Destiny 1, man. And it's like, again, we sit here and we act like we ain't. We sit here and we act like we're not allowed to demand more. Like, whatever. As long as you charging money, I can demand more. And you gotta remember, they're about to raise the price. They're raising the price of the game now. It's no longer just the game in general. I'm not talking about Destiny, but just games, period, are going to be costing $70 at base now. So you mean to tell me we're going to pay an extra $10 now for the rest of our lives as gamers? We're going to pay the extra $10 and we ain't going to make them get their shit together? Mind you, this is without expansions. We're not counting expansions. We're not counting microtransactions. But they asking for $10 more per game out of our pockets. Plus whatever other money-hungry methods they got coming down the line. And we're not gonna say, well, if you're gonna make me pay more, you gotta do more. You gotta be more. Say it, man. A lot of kids can't lie to me. And like the old wise saying says, a fool and his money are soon parted. And we have been such fools. All of us. We of the consumers, of the gaming consumers, are being such fools. But ignorance is bliss, right? It's better to be ignorant about it than just, what's that mean? Consume product and be excited for next product. Like,
Thank the traveler for data compression.
I'm sorry. I just refuse to look at the world as a fantasy. I live in the real fucking world. I live in a real fucking world. I've had real fucking shit happen to me. You know, I buried my father a couple of years ago. Like, I know what real world is like. Real shit. It's real shit. I don't live in some fantasy world where everybody's got $1 million to just throw out for BS shit. I don't live in that world.
I've had my reservations about Keitel and her kin, but their discipline, their loyalty,
And the one medium, because I don't have many hobbies outside of this. It's either I'm out here trying to make money in some way, shape, or form, or I'm playing video games. That's my only real hobby. Either I'm doing that or I'm working on my art, which is part of my business, whether it be music, drawing, painting, writing my story that I've been working on for 20 plus years, or whether it be going to work every day, 9 to 5 in it. I'm chasing money in some form or fashion outside of the only hobby I have, and that's gaming. And the one hobby that I have, the artistic power of it is being sucked dry. The fun of it is being sucked dry. The desire to even engage with it, just period, as the gamer, the desire to play games is slowly being sucked dry because every freaking franchise that I used to adore and love is dying pathetically. And I'm having to look to these lesser companies who can barely scratch by, and they're putting out more powerful and more meaningful products. I shouldn't hate a hobby that I've loved since I was young, since I was a teenager. I shouldn't hate a hobby that literally helped me stay out of trouble when I was constantly getting into shit in the street. Like, I shouldn't begin to despise a hobby that probably helped save my life in a lot of different ways. I shouldn't hate this. I shouldn't hate this whole thing, but the whole industry is so fucking sad right now. We got this stupid thing called a console war. Who gives a fuck if you own a PlayStation or an Xbox? Who cares? They're fucking you either way. You the gamer, you the consumer, you're being fucked either way. PC Master Race, this one, you're getting fucked either way. The only reason why I choose to play on PC is because of the fact that PC can cover all of my gaming needs. And it keeps me from having to shovel out $500 for one console and $500 for another console just so I can play the wide array of games that I want to play. And of course, because it allows me to also be modular. It allows me to tailor my experience far more fine-tuned to myself. So I don't have to, I'm not limited to just what the PlayStation can do on its own. I'm not limited to that. I can mod my computer up, down, left, and right. So I can tailor my computer's capabilities to what I need from it. Especially considering that I stream like I am right now. And I do a lot of recording video and things of that nature. So, I can just do it all from one place. But we get so caught up in these meaningless politics. And then the politics they want to throw in, like the whole gender identity shit. Instead of just focusing on making something good, they want to focus on pandering to as many people as possible. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. That's some retarded logic. Fuck out of here. Like, fuck out of here. Cause trust me, if you sitting on the fucking, in a fucking bed in the hospital, and you gotta get a stomach surgery, where they gotta cut out half your pancreas. I'm talking about myself here, cause that's what happened to me. The last thing you fucking care about is the gender identity of your fucking doctor. What you're caring about is, have you done this before? How good are you at it? And can I trust you to put me to sleep and cut the one thing that I have, that I only get one of, my body, open? I am only concerned about your skill at what's necessary at the craft here. Are you good enough? All this identity politics, race identity politics shit, like a lot of the race swapping you see going on in a lot of these games. Because Destiny's got that problem too. All of a sudden, all the females are gay. What? Fuck out of here. When they explicitly were not in the past. Like, whatever, right? Whatever floats your boat. But it seems like you worry about more of that shit than you did about making the actual story worth caring about. And so what happens is that kind of shit sticks out. You know what I mean? That kind of shit sticks out because the story itself can't carry its own weight. So now we start caring more about the fact that, oh, you just out of nowhere decided that Anna Bray was a lesbian? Oh, you just out of nowhere just turned Marisol into a lesbian? Oh, you just out of nowhere just, you just, like, almost all of the major female characters in the game are all lesbian all of a sudden. Like, oh, okay. But now that's what we focus on, because it ain't like the story is any good to talk about. It ain't like it's getting all the praise. I give a fuck about this damn story. But you seem to be turning everybody into goddamn gays now. Everybody's gay. Everybody on both sides, men and women. Everybody's gay. It's like, wow. All right. Okay. Me as a straight black dude. Okay. Well, I guess that's more. I guess that's more booty for me. I guess there's more females out here for me then, since I know Zavala them probably ain't taking them on. All the rest of these guys ain't taking them. I mean, I don't know how you do Saint and Osiris. That doesn't really make any sense. If Saint is supposed to be an EXO, that doesn't really make any sense. But I get it. I mean, again, I get it. They want to make this whole thing like, robots are somehow humans too, or whatever. And again, like, whatever. I got my own opinions on that, but that's neither here nor there. But again, that's why a lot of these things get so much press when they do shit like that. When they get to identity switching people like that and stuff like that, it gets so much press because the actual product itself that it's based on isn't worth anything. Worth shit. You see how they race swap Aragorn right now in the Lord of the Rings, like just blatantly disrespectful stuff. I'm a black dude, and I would never want to see Aragorn be black. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the artist who originally made the story, Tolkien. It's disrespectful. It's like, and the same disrespect is being thrown into our games. It's being thrown into the art form that is supposed to be gaming. It is being thrown into the business practices that they use against us. It's being thrown into the quality of the games that we're getting. It's all disrespectful to the consumer. And it's all disrespectful to those who are in the company, like the developers who probably do want to create art. They do want to make moving stories. For the people who work at Bungie who actually do want to make all of these amazing stories that are buried in tabs in the lore, in the game, they probably do want to bring cutscenes alive with these other people in the lore and these other supposed legends. They do want to bring more of that lore to life. And for those artists in there, I won't even call you developers. You deserve to be called a better name than that. You're an artist. For those artists in there, I deeply, deeply feel for you. I do. Because I could only imagine what it must feel like to have such a creative, wild imagination, to have created all of these. Because I read this lore, and I'm like, yo, the imagination that must have gone into this was great. I bet that they had a ball writing this out. I bet you they had a ball imagining what Dredgen Yor looked like. And you know, what he became from going from Titan to being a hunter. Like, and then to turn around and have that shit crumpled up in your face and thrown at you and said, it ain't gonna make us money, or it ain't gonna make us an absorbent amount of money. Nah. That must be soul crushing. That must be soul crushing. But to the people who do that, for the people who actually make these artists have to throw away the part of them that makes them, their artistry is what got them fucking hired, for fuck's sakes. And you won't even let them do what they're good at. The people who do that to them, fuck y'all and everything y'all stand for. I hope you die slow. Because it's like, you're ruining what makes life worth living. One of the things that makes life worth living is the ability to feel in it, the ability to be inspired in it, the ability to have yourself moved to a point of unfettered emotion, where it's like you woke up this morning maybe not knowing just who you were, and you just say, you know what, let me just play this game. And by the time you put the controller down, you had a far more confident perspective on who you were, just because you found a perspective that you didn't see earlier. The game showed you something. It touched a chord in you that you might have had it back when you were young, but now that you done got older and you're more cynical about the world, you doubt yourself more. When back when you were young, you were always gung-ho, and you wonder where that part of you went. And then one day you end up playing something, and you start feeling like that young, vibrant self again, and you realize it's always been there, but the world beat you down so bad that it got you feeling like you can't do nothing. And now you wake up every morning knowing that you can again. And the game did that for you. Because it was art. It was meant to inspire you. It was made to do so. And then you could probably say, well, Relic, what's all of this shit you talking? Why are you talking all this crazy? Because that's the way our world has progressed. Everything that you see, that you have, that you own, every TV and computer and all these different things that you own, these were all created under the imagination of what could be. 50 years ago, we didn't know that we could have phones that were basically miniature computers. But somebody said maybe it could happen. They were inspired to try. Inspiration is what creates innovation. And innovation is the key to fucking progress. But if we're going to have a world where people ain't feeling shit, people ain't inspired by nothing, no wonder why they say our generation is just full of doom and gloom, and it's going to be stagnant, and ain't nobody going to really, because there's no artistry no more. There's no art anymore. There's no heart to anything that's being made anymore. It's just a bunch of products on an assembly line. Consume, consume, consume. That's all we have. So yeah, I make a big deal out of it because it can literally change the trajectory of human existence. Art can change the trajectory of mankind's existence on this planet. Art or the lack of it. Am I still here? Yeah, I'm still here. But I won't be for long. I'm Amon-Rellik the Godslayer. I'm Amon-Rellik Gaming. Like I said, I'm finna go play me something fun in the indie AA category. I might have another stream up later on tonight. I think Snake's gonna probably come back and play some more Scum. So tonight we'll probably be getting some more of Scum if you guys enjoyed that. I know the last stream was a bit long and drawn out, but Scum gets difficult to kind of get started because it just throws you somewhere random on the map, and it can be pretty difficult to find your friend. Like, it took us like 3 hours to find each other yesterday night. So now that we found each other and we can kind of back each other up, we'll be able to get more into, finding us a set place to hunker down, make a base, and do some cool stuff like that or whatever. If it's not going to be Scum tonight, it will definitely be Witcher, if not Scum. I will be jumping back into the Witcher, and we'll be going forward because we left off after we helped Triss Marigold get out of Novigrad, and hopefully we can see her in Kavir at some point in the future. So, if not Scum, it will be Witcher, and you can expect that stream to be around 9-10 o'clock Eastern. I'd say about maybe 10, 11 latest, 9 the earliest. Between 9 and 11 o'clock Eastern tonight, I'll be back up and back on. But I need to cleanse my palate with some good old fashioned heartfelt and heart-made stuff. I'll see you guys in the stream later on today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Again, I know this seemed real ranty, but I am very passionate about the subject of art. It is literally everything that I am good at exists in the realm of art. I'm good at drawing. I'm good at painting. I'm good at music writing. I'm good at these things. I'm good at I'm debatably good at a lot of games. Like, everything that I am good at, that I can look in the mirror and say, Christian, you are good at this. It all exists under the realm of art. And so I've taken art as a realm very seriously. I've looked at the old masters. And to this day, I will never understand. Well, I understand it, but it is something when you see the old masters. When you look at the paintings of the old masters and look at just how real they depicted our world. Look at the old masters' work. Look it up online. Look up old masters from the Renaissance era and things of that nature. And look at how they painted the human body. It is so unfathomably real looking. That is a connection to the human condition that you rarely see in art. And it's so damn good that you got Blizzard using the old master style for Diablo 4. And I can't even lie, it was utterly beautiful. When you look up Diablo 4, the old masters painting, and look at the painting of Lilith in that whole thing with Lilith, and it's done in the old masters way, it is utterly beautiful. Alright, guys. Like I said, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys between 9 and 11 tonight. I'm Amon-Rellik the Godslayer. We out.